very soon. Indeed, the thing that brought us here is not the one that will take us across the line. So I was here, I got a question from one young lawyer. Suzuka was like I want to quote what he said. But I am going to more. But that brings me, because these judges, I think, are
they are shortlisted and how they are not. Who gets interviewed and who doesn't. Some of them, some of the horror stories we hear about young lawyers seeking judicial office are just incredible. But at the same time, we have I think about 260 magisterial areas. So if you made those 260 magisterial areas, so if you made those 260 chief magistrates, you need a number of other magistrates there in each magisterial area, and many people, and we don't even have enough magistrates to fill, I think, even half of the magisterial areas. I'll get the numbers properly. So first of all, for young lawyers, what we are saying is that if we are not able to fill the entire lot, at least let us have this same thing applying to magistrates. And Regulation 19 of the Judicial Service Regulations allows for it. But secondly, for young lawyers, we're also saying let's ensure that the process of recruitment of judicial officers at magisterial level is transparent and is clear, and they have a clear understanding of how they are getting in and how they are getting out. But the other thing for young lawyers is that right now, if you had a child, because the statistics are given you are so incredible that if
first question has been answered, these have been the one for first question has been answered, these have been the one for senior lawyers. Probably everyone has a win with the idea of this mission-based judges, from the lawyers and even from the people who access justice. And at this point, I know myself technology a lot, and is wondering how you can have this technology fitted into the mission-based judges idea. So I would have to call her to pose a question.
Yes, thank you, Alfred. I think we cannot undermine the importance of marine technology in improving judicial efficiency here in Uganda. And I know that the judiciary has adopted several mechanisms, including ICMIS, entertaining virtual hearings. So I think it's important for us to understand how these particular steps that the judiciary has taken in adopting technology will marry or complement the approach of appointing mission-based judges in Uganda. How will these two complement each other to ensure that we achieve a higher level of judicial efficiency here in Uganda? Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. I think that's a really good question. Technology is certainly a game changer in many fields. So technology is certainly a game changer in many fields. Think about it. What we can do today, even the mere fact that we can have this conversation with the people we're having it with, in the places where they are, is a result of technology. We cannot continue to have an analog court in a digital world. We simply cannot. And to the credit of their lordships, there is an electronic case management system, the ICMIS, which needs to be rolled out to the whole country as a starting point. That is for case filing. But we're also going to start seeing virtual hearings. We also, one of the reasons why one famous judgment was delayed was because the court didn't have premises. Right now, technology doesn't need the people in a meeting to be in the same room. The people in a meeting can be in different rooms. The people at a court hearing don't need to be even in the same country for the court hearing to happen. Technology, therefore, we need to start seeing not just virtual filing, virtual hearings. Where you sit in it, we did it during COVID quite effectively across the country, where we were sitting, people were sitting in their homes, fully robed at home, making arguments to the courts. We need to see a larger rollout of electronic hearing, such that people are. Technology will help us move away from the idea of court as a building and bring us closer to court as a service, allowing even mission-based judges to hear cases where they don't need to have their office ready. because they already have an office where they are sitting, they just deliver what they are delivering and they move on. So for me, technology is an important solution. Technology, like virtual filings, and you can see with the birth pains it had some trouble in the beginning, the case management system. But you're seeing some improvements there, and give credit to the judiciary for that. What we need to see is more use of technology. And there's basic technology that can really help to deliver fast-paced justice. You look at examples from courts like Singapore, Hong Kong, and the sort of things that technology has done for justice there, and it's just mind-blowing. And we need to start having mind-blowing technological solutions right here at home, solutions that deliver. So technology is important, and that's the thinking we need to start having. We need to treat backlog as a crisis, and we need a war on backlog. And once we have a war on backlog, we'll then be able to deploy the commandos of the judicial system, who are the lawyers and members of the law society, to come in and solve these problems. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Edson. In the interest of time, I'll take the question from the audience. Mr. Duncan, you raised your hand to ask a question. If you already made a speaker, you may pose your question. Mr. Duncan poses this question. Those who have questions and you want to ask, you can send me a request to speak. I will allow you. And those who have others, you may inbox me. We'll soon pose your question to Mr. Edson. So Duncan, please proceed with your question. Thank you. Thank you so much, Duncan, for your question. I will allow Mr. Edson to respond to it. Thank you.
Okay, Duncan raises an interesting question about independence. And he says, how do you, do mission-based judges inherently solve the challenge we have now of independence? I want to address your question in two parts. And Duncan will forgive me. I want to address your question in two parts. And the first part is, one of the big challenges we have in the way judicial office is accessed. There's an issue you're calling it an issue of cadre judges. How do you solve the problem of the cadre? With a mission-based judge approach, if a judge is he comes in to solve backlog or to solve a particular problem, and he's not able to deliver, it will be very clear that he's not able to deliver, but you're not stuck with him forever. So for example, if Ellison comes into the judicial office and lacks judicial independence, at least you know that he's there for a few months and then you are redeemed from the fellow. But more importantly, one of the things that this method allows, it allows us to an appointment of judicial officers. One of the bigger challenges we have is that there is what they call sitting tenants. Sitting tenants are people who are already in the judiciary. And the idea is that we must promote people who have made a career in the judiciary. And then you have people who spend a lot of time at the lower bench doing incredibly great work, but they fight so hard to become High Court judges that by the time they do reach the office of the High Court judge, and I say this with great respect to many career judicial officers, by the time they do reach the office of the High Court judge, they're actually tired. And the exercise of the exercise at the High Court bench is an exercise in retirement. And they don't want to risk. And then you have issues of independence arising. Then there are also issues, as you call them, of cadre judges. People who are appointed specifically because they are supposed not to be independent. I think that's what you mean by cadre judges. The mission-based approach means we are really opening and democratizing access to the bench, and we are using expertise. I'm not even saying we stop appointing substantive judges. We must even appoint more to get a lot more talent available to solve people's problems. Now, your concern is independence, and we must make sure that our judiciary is independent and efficient. Once we don't have those two things, we'll definitely have a problem. The solution to judicial independence is why we are not comfortable with the idea of judges on probation. Regarding the larger issues of Ellison being a lawyer for whoever he was a lawyer for, it doesn't matter whose lawyer is appointed. I recall there are very many not rub off onto the idea of mission-based judges. We must not lose the baby with the bathwater. Thank you. I'll mute it.
Thank you, Ellison, for that very elaborate response to that question. And I think we've got another question along the same lines, which is really, there is need for judicial continuity and stability. If we do have these mission-based judges appointed and coming in and out, so we have one appointed for 3 months, another for 6 months, they go back to their private practice. Of course, whereas we need to deal with judicial efficiency, how are we going to balance this out with the need for judicial continuity and stability? What is your opinion on how to balance those two?
We are not asking for instability. But there is no stability and there is no continuity in the fact that we have 42,000 cases in backlog. Even those who are waiting are entitled to justice. There is no stability and there is no continuity from the fact that we have 44 trillion shillings tied up in the commercial court. There is no stability and there is no continuity in the fact that remand has become a sentence and that an accusation has become a conviction. There's no stability in that. The stability of our justice system lies in its ability to churn out the cases and to deliver justice to the last mile and to the last woman. The stability of our justice system lies in its ability to be resourceful, lies in its ability to be versatile, lies in its ability to have court hearings even without court buildings. The stability of our justice system relies on the fact of taking justice as a service to the people. We call people their lordships because we expect a lot from them, but we're not supposed to load onto them challenges that are even affecting their health. There is absolutely no stability, in my opinion, in injustice, in delay, and in backlog. What we are proposing is the stability. And the stability we are proposing, you have a criminal session, for example. You hear 200 cases in 2 months. This hears the case and finishes it. And when he finishes it, it goes to another level on appeal. There is no instability in what we are proposing. The only instability is the...
It's now upon us, the legal community and everyone, the stakeholders, to have this working as soon as yesterday. So this when it poses the question of what immediate steps should the legal community advocate for reform the appointment process, this due approval debacle which we have been engaging in. So to ensure that our judiciary evolves to meet these challenges, which probably now include the case backlog, access to justice, bringing court, not court as court, but the services of court closer to the people and everything. So I will have your take on that as we close. Debacle. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Alfred. I'm very grateful for that question, and of course there are some immediate steps. We are having what the UNS has done by saying let us have an election to choose, and by bringing this debate is a massive contribution to seeing how we can improve judicial service in this country, by shining a light where it needs to be shone, and by ensuring that in who the lawyers are selecting, there is a process of democratization. That is one step. So participate in the upcoming, soon to be Judicial Service Commission elections. Some people are trying to stop it, but as you know, nobody can stop radio. But that's one thing. The other thing I think is it's already in the law. We are not asking for things. We are not saying we need to sit down, amend the Constitution. I've seen some people proposing constitutional amendments. We are not amending the Constitution. We are not changing rules. But what we are proposing is already in the Constitution. Certainly we would have to write rules on who can access judicial office in this way. And we can write those rules because under Section 27 of the Judicial Service Act is the Judicial Service Commission that writes its own regulations. So this is something that we need to start on. We need to have this conversation. I can assure you, I have toured the country, I've spoken to many colleagues, both at the bar and on the bench, and I can tell you that there is a very strong desire and feeling for us to change the way we are working and for us to start delivering. Because if we don't start delivering justice for people, we are all going to have a massive, massive risk to ourselves. So in answer to your question, we need to continue with the democratization such that we continue to have the sort of discussions, painful some of them may be, that are able to take our system to the next level. And I also am very happy to see the Vice President on, and really to congratulate the Law Society for having pushed through the idea of this election that has given us an opportunity to make this case to the members of the Uganda Law Society. And also maybe to ask the Vice President to send our best wishes to the US President, wherever he may be.
I think the Vice President has done. Well, so I have my short parting remarks, and this just to thank you to everyone who has been on this case from 7 up to 8:30. I knew you all had better things to have done during this period, but you opted to join us. These questions are still ongoing. We shall have a similar case next week on Wednesday, as with another topic, but still digging deeper into this age of mission-based judges. We'll be happy to. Well, so I have my short parting remarks, and this just to thank you to everyone who has been on this case from 7 up to 8:30. I knew you all had better things to have done during this period, but you opted to join us. These questions are still ongoing. We shall have a similar case next week on Wednesday, as with another topic, but still digging deeper into this age of mission-based judges. We'll be happy to have you again on the space, and I will still invite Mr. Elson to speak to us in that space. I'm going to bring even other than God. I would like to ask Mr. Sim Anthony, I don't know if you have am sure I meant to understand you have a message from Melo side because let to speak to us as a person who has judges and you understand it better. I hope next time this session will bring people from other jurisdictions who are already getting the benefits of this education-based judges who understand this practicability so that they speak to us. Maybe we have got to understand the theory part of it, but we need to talk to people who are doing it practical and see how it really applies. So I hope.
I think mine is to say thank you very much to my co-host Alfred, and thank you so much Alfred, and thank you so much Edison for obviously giving us all this information and answering our questions quite elaborately. I'd like to still invite all of you to join us next week on Wednesday as we continue to dig deep into this discussion and have some interesting guests hopefully for our next session to give us a practical understanding on how this particular appointment of mission-based judges works in other jurisdictions. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a lovely evening. Ellison, maybe you could just come in and give us some closing remarks as we close out on this particular space.
It is my great honor, Mercy and Alfred, for your time that you've given us. I do promise I will be bringing lawyers from other jurisdictions next week. I'll try to ensure that our lawyers from other jurisdictions can come and show us that what we are saying is working. But I am especially grateful to everybody who has joined us from wherever they have joined us from, who has sat with us for the better part of an hour, who has shared their time, their patience and their thoughts with us. I'm especially grateful that we are having this conversation about the Ugandan judicial system and about how to make it work for those of us who earn our livelihood from it, and for those of us who desperately need it to save them, those who are suffering injustice, to ensure that victims are avenged, that criminals are punished, that the innocent do not suffer, that justice is seen, justice is done, and justice is seen to be done. But most importantly, I am most grateful for people who have come. I'm very grateful to the members of the Ugandan Society who will listen to us. And it is my singular honor that I'm here, and we shall continue to be here to make the case for how we can make the judicial service in this country much more pleasant for the people of this country. To everybody who has joined us, from wherever you've joined us from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And remember, nobody can stop reggae.
Well, that is it for today. That's it for today. As Council says, nobody can stop reggae. Yeah, that we have come close to the end of the space. We may leave at leisure, but as we leave, we may listen to the Nobody Can Stop Reggae, or to remember Mr. Edison has to be going to direction is to represent, together with the British Service Commission. Yeah, the recording will be shared very just immediately after the space. I've seen requests from Mr. Mark and several lawyers asking for the recording of the space. We will share it for those who do this stuff. Thank you.